Repetition is good, then and then we will remember. Worshipping the Lord, glorification, meditation, then remembering the pastime of the Supreme Lord and offering obeisances. So these are the five prominent activities we should engage. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to explain in detail. Ijya, worshipping the Lord. Ijya includes serving the souls at the feet of the Lord's Murti, honoring the special day of Lord Hari, Ekadasi, wearing garlands, a necklace, and tilak, and taking the vow of accepting remnants of food offered to the Lord and water that had washed the feet of the Murti. Serving Tulsi and similar service are also included within this category. When I visited my friend yesterday, he has so many nice, wonderful Tulsi plant. Very nice. Second, Akhya, glorification. Akhya includes studying devotional literatures and hearing and chanting the names and pastimes of Lord Sri Hari. Then Dhyana, meditation. Dhyan is a special category of Smaran, meditation on or remembrance of the Lord. But in this verse, Raghunath Das Goswami has used Dhyana to refer to Smaran in general. Sri Jiva Goswami gives a detailed explanation of Smaran in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Anucheda 178. The translation goes like this. Meditation on the Lord, Smaran, progresses in the following order. First, one should meditate on the Lord's holy names, Nam. Then his form, Rupa, his divine qualities, Guna, his associate, Parikara, one's service in connections to him, Shiva, and finally his pastimes, Lila. So Smaran can be categorized into 5 stages. To meditate on whatever spiritual topics comes easily to the mind is simply Smaran. To attempt in a general way to thoroughly fix the mind on the Lord's dharana. 3. To make a focused attempt to meditate on specific forms, pastimes, etc. of the Lord is dhyana. 4. Meditation on the Lord that occurs spontaneously as a constant flow of nectar is Dhruvanusmriti. 5. And when only the Lord, the object of meditation, exists in one's consciousness, nothing else, that's called Samadhi. Very nicely Jiva Goswami has given us. This knowledge is there to apply in our devotional lives. Then Shramana, hearing. Hearing include listening to saintly people, glorify the playful pastimes of the Lord. The cultural system of hearing Puranas in the evening is part of this practice. I remember in my village, always during particularly the rainy season, all these elderly people used to gather. They have like a raised platform in each house in the front, and they will sit down and they will read Mahabharata, Ramayana. Very nice way they used to live. And then they go to sleep very peacefully. But now we are running after something that we don't have even time for ourselves. Last it says nothing, offering obeisances. One should offer prostrated obeisances, Sastanga Pranam, before the Lord's Murti or any object or place that awakens one remembrance of the Lord. Now, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is telling Govardhan Bhajan. And I think that's the reason in our meditation at 4:30 we are reading in detail the Parikrama of Govardhan Hill. Worship Sri Govardhan. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami offered these particular instructions for himself as well as for everyone else. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the moon of the sky-like heart of devotees, personally gave his Govardhan Sila to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, who described this incident in Sri Gauranga Stav Kalpataru, verse number 11 from Stavavali. The translation goes as follows. Although I am fallen soul, the lowest of men, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered me from the blazing forest fire of great material opulence by his mercy. He handed me over in great pleasure to Swarup Damodar, his personal associates. The Lord also gave me the garland of small conch shell that he wore on his chest, and a stone from Govardhan Hill, although they were very dear to him. That same Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awakens within my heart and makes me mad after him. Quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela 6.327. A Govardhan Sila is a direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Worshipping this Sila or harboring the attitude, quote, I will never leave Govardhan, where Sri Raghunath Das Goswami resides, is also service to Govardhan Hill. So when we chant the holy name, now we are reading in detail different places that we will be visiting. It would be a nice thing to meditate on place after place. Wonderful pastimes. So in the next page is the very beautiful picture. Following the rules, worship Govardhan. There's some Brajvasis. They have a wonderful 5 ghee lamps. Very nice place to worship Govardhan. And Mataji is worshipping. On the next page, congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavan, mentally or physically. Wonderful Sankirtan is going on at the Govardhan Hill. Seniors, juniors, Mataji, small girls, everybody is chanting the holy name. Next page, there is a picture. Offer prostrated obeisances. Sattanga Pranam, before the deity or any object or place that awaken our remembrance of the Lord. So this wonderful devotees are offering obeisances to the Govardhan hill that remind us of Krishna. Vaishnavas also we should offer all the pilgrimage place that remind us of the divine couple. Next page, there is a beautiful picture. Taste the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees. One Mataji is giving you a wonderful discourse on Srimad Bhagavatam at the foothills of Govardhan Hill, and so many devotees are assembled to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Next page, there is a picture. Meditate on the holy names, divine form, divine qualities, Krishna's associates, and one's service in connection to him and his pastimes. So this is a beautiful picture at the hill of the Govardhan. There are some small calf, beautiful tree and scrubs. Matajis and Prabhus are sitting, and we can see how meditative while chanting the holy name. So we will finish this verse 11, a commentary by Bhaktivinoda Thakur today. It's page and a half left. This conception of worship to Govardhan has two meanings. The first is that practitioners should respect and worship Govardhan Sila as one respects the Murti of the Lord. And the second meaning is to worship the Lord while residing at Sri Govardhan or any of the holy places that surround the hill, where the Lord performed many pastimes. Residence in the Holy Dham, as indicated here, is synonymous with Srila Rupa Goswami's instructions of living in Mathura. Nitya, in accordance with the rules of devotion. Niti does not indicate simply Vaidhi marg or the path where the impetus is scriptural logic and rules. Those who are eligible for Vaidhi Bhakti will worship according to those rules and regulations. But those on the platform of Raganuga Bhakti or spontaneous devotional service will worship by adopting the rules for Raga Bhakti as set forth by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Manaha Siksha Bhas, Song 11, and we will read the translation. There is 4 verses. Fill yourself with the delectable, intoxicating nectar of Radha Krishna's Lila, with their sakhis in the forest bowers of Braj, and remain drunk on it externally. One who shows them according to the daily Lila is superlatively fortunate. You know, there are 3 wonderful qualities of Srimati Radharani. Who remember that Sudhadhar? Anybody would like to repeat? What are the 3 prominent qualities of Srimati Radharani? She is most beautiful. She always controls Krishna, and she is very fortunate. So when this word comes, we should reflect on it, because our mind is so dull, we will not remember. Oh heart, if you want that treasure, then along with Sri Rupa's associates, become Sri Rupa's maidservant, and do worship and bhajan according to Sri Rupa's specific instructions. Third one, in a mood of spontaneous pure love, you will receive a service seva appropriate to various times of the day and become enraptured in the mood of service. Externally, in your form of a practitioner, follow your program of worship, sadhana bhajan, at home, either in seclusion or in the association of saintly persons. Fourth, perform worship of and meditation of the divine couple. Offer obeisances to them, hear about them, dance in Sankirtan, and bathe Sri Govardhan with 5 nectars, Panch, Pancha Amruta. Bhakti Vinod longs for the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath. His heart is fixed, unwavering, on doing bhajan in this way. These qualities of unwavering is required to remain fixed in our devotion, because we are living in this material world which is ever changing. All the circumstances will keep on changing as our life progresses. But somehow or other, we have to remain fixed in our practice. That's what is required to become attracted to the divine couple. So now we will dwell in the life of Srila Prabhupada. We are on volume number 5, chapter 1. The land is yours. I think we should read one paragraph to bring up to the speed. The propensity to fight is very strong in this age of Kali. He said, and the population is becoming so sinful that they are trying to accumulate atomic weaponry for ultimate destruction of humanity. Sometimes Prabhupada would ask a disciple to speak to the group also. No guests were present, since during blackout no one could walk on the streets. And on some nights, the police pounded on the door, demanding the devotees extinguish even their candles. That's where we stopped yesterday. So now we continue. Due to the war in India, Prabhupada wrote in a letter, quote, our programs here have been reduced and there is every night a blackout, unquote. Not only in Delhi but in other parts of India, his disciples were encountering difficulties in their preaching attempts. In Mayapur, the government has ordered the devotees to leave the area because of its close proximity to Bangladesh. As Prabhupada has predicted, however, the war did not last long. On December 17, Prabhupada read the headlines of the Indian Express. Quote, Naiji surrenders, Bangladesh is free. India decides on unilateral ceasefire in West. Prabhupada was joyous. He told the devotees confidentially that the reason the war had ended so quickly was because of their massive Sankirtan Yajna at the Pandal a month earlier. On the very same page that had announced India's victory. However, another headline read, quote, PM blames USA for war, unquote. Indira Gandhi was blaming President Nixon for the war. The American devotee tense as they walked the streets, sensing the Indians' mistrust. And daily newspaper propaganda only worsened the condition. There is a great propaganda now against America in India. Prabhupada wrote, quote, due to the country's stand against India and the war with Pakistan. Delhi was the seat of much political agitation, and Prabhupada decided to relocate the devotees who were there with him. Although his disciples were peaceful and far from being politically active, he sent some to Calcutta, while others accompanied him to Bombay. International politics would not stop the oncoming wave of Lord Chaitanya's movement. So that's ended chapter number 1. Now we are embarking upon the chapter number 2. No one listened to a poor man. From 1965 until 1970, Srila Prabhupada had concentrated mainly on re-establishing Krishna consciousness in America. His plan had been that if the American turned to Krishna consciousness, the rest of the world would follow. Although his preaching to the English-speaking people had begun in India, some 60 years of single-handed endeavor that had convinced him that Indians were either too absorbed in politics, too ignorant of their spiritual heritage, or too crippled by poverty to seriously accept Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he had not been successful. But in the United States, success had come. Clearly, America was the prime field for implanting Krishna consciousness. Yet, Prabhupada found in the West uncultured and uncivilized. If a trace of civilization remained anywhere, he would often say it was in India, the heart of the original Vedic culture. By 1970, he had demonstrated through his extensive traveling and preaching that he intended to establish the Krishna consciousness movement not only in the US, but all over the world, especially in India. Even accepting their preaching in the United States and preaching in India were equally important. Still, the preaching in the United States was going well without Prabhupada's constant direct management. What he had begun, his American disciple could continue. But in India, Prabhupada could not allow his disciple to manage ISKCON. He saw how often and how easily the Indians were able to cheat his disciples. Half of ISKCON's work in India was being spoiled, he said, due to his disciples being cheated. If they put on a Pandal program, they might end up paying several times the standard cost. The only way for ISKCON to develop in India would be under Prabhupada's direct management. Beginning in 1970, with a small band of American disciples, Prabhupada had traveled from place to place in India as a model sannyasi, opening a great new field for ISKCON. Now, he wanted to construct big temples in India, 3 in particular, one in Vrindavan, one in Mayapur, and one in Bombay. As early as 1967, he had attempted to make an American house for his disciple in Vrindavan, Mayapur, being the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, was especially important. And Bombay was India's major city, the gateway to India. As with most of Prabhupada's big plans, even his closest disciple couldn't fully comprehend the scope of his vision. But Prabhupada knew what he wanted, and he knew it all depended on Krishna. Gradually, he began to unfold his plans. Temple construction, 653. Okay, just we will read this paragraph. Temple construction, he said, was secondary to book publication and distribution. But Krishna consciousness must run on two parallel lines, just as a train runs on two rails. One rail was Bhagavad Marg, the other Pancharatrika Vidhi. Bhagavad Marg referred to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, hearing and chanting about Krishna, and disseminating the message of Krishna. And the second rail, Pancharatrika Vidhi, referred to the rules and regulations for worshipping the deity in the temple. Of the two, Bhagavad Marg was the most important. Hare Krishna. So we will continue tomorrow, if Krishna so desire. Before the liberty leaves, we would like to offer our humble obeisances at the desk of the Lotus Feet. We are so fortunate to have their kind association, taken a lot of austerity to come out from the bed and show their dedication to join earlier. So I'd like to offer my humble obeisances with the prayer. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhaya patitanam pavanebhyo vaisnavebhyo namo namaha. I think there is also a time to break our Ekadasi fast on Dvadasi day. I will give 10 seconds if anybody has any question, comment, correction, chastisement, suggestions, or any reflections. Here is your 10 seconds. Thank you very much. If Krishna so desires, we will see